Hello and welcome to WOW, the positive podcast, showing kids that there's a lot more to world news than bad news. I'm Alastair, and as a journalist, I spent years bringing people bad news from all over the world. Now I realise that if we're really going to fix our problems, we need a bit of hope and inspiration too. And so I get together with my podcast buddy Clarisse to talk about what people are doing to come up with solutions. Right now, of course, our big problem is coronavirus. Clarisse and I are keeping you up to date with the good news on that front, and we've got more coming right up. So if you want to cheer up a friend, do send them a link to this WOW News, the positive podcast.
Hi, Alastair.
Hi, Clarisse. You'll never guess what I just saw from the window here at the WOW studio in Brussels.
Well, probably not a plane, right?
Yeah, you're right, not a plane. Usually I can see a plane pretty much any time I look out of the window, but with most people staying at home to stop the coronavirus, there are almost none.
So, what? You saw a bird?
That's it, Clarisse. But not just any bird. Of course, I usually see plenty of pigeons and the like. But a little while ago, I spotted a huge, lanky thing perched on a roof across the street. I recognised it. It's a heron. Now, that's a bird you might normally see lurking on a riverbank, waiting to pounce on a fish.
Wow, I haven't seen anything like that here in Paris. But since we've been staying at home, I have noticed something new here.
And what's that?
Bird songs. It's amazing how much more we can hear birds singing from our windows. It really cheers me up.
Ah, yes, Clarisse. Here too we're hearing more birds singing. It's all part of this extraordinary flourishing of wildlife in our towns and cities because of the COVID virus.
Do you think that there are really more birds around in the city?
Well, Clarisse, maybe the first thing to say is that with billions of human beings shut away in our homes around the world, we're not zipping around in buses and cars and generally rushing about everywhere like we usually do. What that means is that we can simply hear and smell and see much more clearly the nature and the wildlife that surrounds us in our towns every day.
You mean the birds aren't singing more than usual?
Well, no, I think you are also right, Clarisse. There is more bird song. Lots of birds get shy when people are about and they make them scared. So the birds in town are probably singing more than usual. And then, of course, there are just more birds and other animals coming into town because we're giving them the space and the quiet to enjoy it.
Like your heron.
Yes, exactly, Clarisse. Like the heron I just saw taking a look around Brussels.
But there are also lots of amazing animals coming out on the streets.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? You've seen all these videos of dolphins swimming around harbours and bears strolling into cities, even a puma in the capital of Chile.
And the goats.
Yeah, those brilliant mountain goats. You know, on the WOW News website, www.wow-news.eu, at the WOW News website, we've got the video of that herd of goats trotting around a town in Wales, nibbling on the hedgerows and generally looking like they own the place.
I guess you could say that nature is taking back her space from humans.
Well, I think that's right in a way, Clarisse. Of course, this shutdown isn't going to go on forever. In a few weeks, we'll be able to start getting back to normal. But it would be a shame, wouldn't it, if we just completely forgot about what we've seen and heard during this time when we're all keeping unusually quiet.
And what do you think we should do about it, Alastair?
Well, don't you think it would be good if what's happening helps us all to remember that we do share planet Earth with millions of other species, and that maybe we should take better care of it and them. In the meantime, we can sit by our windows and watch the show. We can look out for birds, but also, who knows, for hedgehogs, foxes. Let's all get to know our natural neighbours a little bit better.
And do you think that there are any other positive things for wildlife from people staying at home?
Well, Clarisse, quite a lot of nature experts say that there could be a real boost for birds and animals and fish. In Europe and the rest of the northern hemisphere, it's of course spring right now. That means that the grass and other plants are growing fast. And unlike a normal spring in the city, they're not getting trampled on by our big feet or having to breathe air that we've been polluting with our traffic. So that probably means more plants and flowers around. That means more insects. And that means more food for the birds.
Great! So it could be a really musical summer with more birds to sing to us.
Well, that's what the experts are predicting, Clarisse. They'll have more food. And there's another thing about spring too, isn't there? This is also the time when lots of birds and animals are having their babies. And just having so much more peace and quiet to lay their eggs or to look after their young, that may mean that families of birds and animals around town have a chance to get a bit bigger than normal. So, it could be a noisy summer.
I'll look forward to that. You know, having more time to think about things while we are staying at home means that I've learned a lot. For example, do you know that here in Paris, there are more than 1,600 different species of animals, just the ones which live here all the time. I really need to get to know more of them.
That's a great idea, Clarisse. I tell you what, you go off and start drawing up a list of what Parisian animals you would like to see, and I'll set that as a challenge for our listeners.
Okay, good idea, Alastair. See you on Wednesday.
Yes, see you on Wednesday, Clarisse, when we're going to be sharing top tips on how to make the most of having to stay in and not go outside. We'll be hearing from sailors, astronauts, all sorts of people who know what it's like to have to stay indoors for a long time. Even from me, but more about that in the next episode. Until then, folks, here's Clarisse's challenge. Why don't you make a poster of the most exciting wild animals and birds that you've seen near your home, or that you know live around you and that you hope to see one day? We'd love you to share them with us. Post them on Instagram and mark them with hashtags so that we can see them at MyWowTime. That's our Instagram page, and we'll look out for them. Thank you all for listening, and thank you for spreading the word about the Wow News podcast. More and more of you have been tuning in the past few weeks. We're really grateful. Here at Wow, we want to make sure that everybody knows about the good things that are happening in the world, even when times are tough. Well, especially when times are tough. Our problems do have solutions. To cheer up a friend, go on, tell them about Wow. That's it from me. I'm Alastair. I've been talking with Clarisse. We'll be back on Wednesday with more from Wow, the positive podcast. Until then, stay home, stay safe, and keep positive.